this correctly, this Q&A, this stop in Chicago is the end of basically a year-long press tour, or publicity tour for you. Today's the last day.
It could be.
Hopefully.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, I started really, this film was shown at the Cannes Film Festival a year ago in May. And so I've been on the road on and off for that whole year talking about the movie. And probably this is the last film.
Right.
We'll see.
And we'll go out on a whimper here. Okay.
So make it really good.
The Shroud technology, just as a technology, seems like a lot of the times when you introduce technology, when you're talking about technology in your films, it seems very believable. If not now, then very soon. I'm wondering, I know you probably don't have an exact percentage, but how often do you predict the future accurately, either in terms of tech or political movements or just something along those lines? Because it feels pretty dead on.
Well, I honestly, I don't think of art as prophecy. That's not really the purpose of it. And I'm usually just recording, in a way, what is around me. I mean, there's been some reviews that talk about the sinister futurism of this movie. And I think, well, okay, Tesla, yeah. But really, it's just if that was the character, he would be using his phone the way he did. He's a high-tech entrepreneur. He'd be intrigued by the Tesla, the first sort of viable luxury electric vehicle, a very important car actually in the history of vehicles. And so it seemed very realistic to me, not at all. And it was the same long ago when I was doing video drone and stuff. It really felt that I was just sort of being, as an artist, you maybe have a slightly more sensitive antenna than more other people, or at least you pay more attention to them since you have. And you're sensing things in the zeitgeist, in the context that you live. But I'm not really intending to, and besides, that would be your job, to count the number of times that would be so boring for me.
No, but again, so where was the jumping off point for this time? Because I assume you do a fair amount of research on if you do decide to have a storyline that involves technology, that it's something you're like, oh, this is only, if it's not happening now, it could happen very soon. I could see people today, and maybe even in this room, sign up for this, to have this happen. So.
Well, I do like to mention to audiences as part of, I don't get paid for this. I get paid to make a movie, but talking about it, I don't get paid. I do think that I could sell some franchises. And you could start with just like one in your backyard, and then gradually expand the empire, So if I'm willing to sell these franchises, finance the next movie. No, you could in fact create this right now. In fact, when people ask me where I would like to be buried, I always mention that in Toronto there is a Walk of Fame. It's sort of like Hollywood Boulevard, and various celebrities of whatever kind get a plaque in the sidewalk. And I was thinking that I would like to be buried under that plaque and have the sidewalk be plexiglass so that people walking over can look down and say, oh yeah, he's coming along. but not like Lennon, because Lennon's been embalmed for 100 years and he looks the same. I would be different.
A lot has been made. A lot of people have written about the fact that Vincent Cassel resembles you to a certain degree in this film, and I know that you haven't.
It's the hair.
The hair's the thing. Yeah. But it begs the question, because I know you told me yesterday that you have never said that this film was autobiographical, but a lot of people have assumed that it is because of the subject matter. And but is any part of it?
Oh, yeah, I mean, sure, it was definitely induced by the death of my wife of 43 years, and the feelings that I had about that. Many of those ideas surprised me at the time. And, 5 or 6 years later, it took to percolate and to come up out of the computer as a screenplay. But as soon as you start to write it, it becomes fiction. The characters start to take on their own life. They start to push you around. They say things you didn't want them to say, but they insist. They do things with each other that you didn't expect them to do. And that's when you know that you're creating something alive. And at that point, it's no longer biography or autobiography. It's a fiction. It's a new thing.
One of the things I noticed, even the first time I watched it, was that it's funny. A lot of times, this movie has a few laughs in it, and I'm wondering. I wanted to say, talk about the importance of humor in a story about grief, and where just in your life, in your films, humor is almost always a part of it in some way.
Well, I mean, yeah, all of my movies are funny in some way, and this is in fact a rom-com. Really, I really think we have evolved to have a sense of humor in order to survive. It's really a survival strategy of evolution that we have humor. Because our brains are very capable of all kinds of difficult, crazy things. And without a sense of humor, I really don't know how you could survive. So that's my take on it. But in fact, I don't force it. It just, once these characters come alive, they just happen to be funny, And they tell jokes and they play with each other. And it's always been a natural thing for me. It's not like I say, okay, now, it's not like every 5 pages there needs to be a joke or something like that.
Kind of heavy here. That's
No, it just comes naturally, yeah.
That's great. Another thing that you mentioned, is survival instinct. I feel like people who fall into that rabbit hole of conspiracy theories are also sort of deflecting reality because their reality is too heavy for them. But I'm wondering, conspiracy theories and just paranoia in general are a big factor in a lot of your films. This one, there's so many theories, we're not even sure which one is if any of them are accurate, if that's actually what's going on here. But again, tell me about the usefulness in your films and in life that conspiracy theories hold.
Well, the polemicist, journalist, Christopher Hitchens said, "Death causes religion." And I think that in 3 words, he's really summed up the existence of religion as a phenomenon in our planet. It's almost every religion promises a kind of evasion from the reality of death. And it's because death is a very difficult thing to accept. If you are maybe an atheist or an existentialist, you really feel that death is the end of your life. It'll be oblivion. There won't be heaven where you meet everybody that you loved and so on. Very difficult to imagine your non-existence, your oblivion, and to accept it emotionally. It's not easy. So it occurred to me that death causes conspiracy as well, that it is an evasion, it's a way to evade certain very difficult realities. And it gives you, if you're a conspiracist, it gives you a way of being superior to other people. It gives you, it ennobles you in a way. You can see things that other people can't see. You see through the facade, you see what's really going on, and it gives you a sense of empowerment and so on. And it is, in a way, it's a way of evading certain very difficult realities of the human condition. And I've been talking a little lately. So, as an artist, you really are there to examine, to discuss with yourself, and then later your audience, the human condition, what it is, how it's lived. And And so you inevitably, to me, inevitably end up discussing the big things like sex, death, love, non-existence, things like that. Light things, funny things.